So at the time of their death, majority ownership of the company went to the Sherman children. It was Lauren, Jonathan, Alexandra, Kaylin. Kaylin is a woman, a daughter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lauren, Alexandra, Kaylin. I am married, but I could make exceptions for that kind of money if you're listening. So Jonathan. We asked Brad, and he said he pointed the finger right at Jonathan. So this is interesting. 2 weeks before the murder, Karm, 2 weeks before the murder, there was a request from Barry Sherman that Jonathan and his business partner, a guy named Adam Paulin, pay back between $50 and $60 million that Barry had loaned them. His father, this is according to Jonathan, he was in a difficult financial situation, but vowed to restart the flow of cash down the road. What was that all about, Brad?
Well, I guess the long and short of it is that, Jonathan has set up breweries and storage companies, and that's what it was. And none of them have been particularly successful, but when your dad's worth a few $1 billion, you can live and learn sort of thing. And the impression I got, and I could be completely wrong, is that Jonathan's not a particularly good businessman. But, further to that is that, less than a year after Barry and Honey Sherman had been murdered, Jonathan fired the longtime president, right hand, and probably closest friend of Barry Sherman, a guy named Jack Kay, who was president of Apotex. That kind of, took me a bit by surprise. He isn't saying anything, but he fired him. And then, of course, earlier this year, he sold the company. So I don't know. Do you sell an extremely profitable company? Is it a sensible decision to make?
I'm sorry, the timeline with firing the president, when did that happen in relation to the murder?
I think that was, they were murdered in December 2017, and Jack Kay was fired in September 2017. Or 2018, I apologize.
So he was fired after the murder.
A year after the murder.
A year after the murder. And that's because the children had took control of the company.
The son had taken care of the company. I don't think the sisters give a whit for that as long as their trust funds keep rolling in. I think one's a yoga teacher and another's a stay-at-home mom and that sort of stuff. So they don't really have any hand in the business. And I venture to say probably not much knowledge of its inner workings.
And the company itself was sold? I wasn't even aware of that. When did that happen? I mean, there's got to be a board, right? There's got to be decision. But what you're saying is that basically Jonathan pulled the strings on that sale too.
Yeah. Him and his partner, I believe. Yeah.
Is it politically incorrect to mention that he had
two partners? He had a business partner and a husband. No. So I was actually going to ask that question myself.
SK Capital bought them September 29th.
September 29th of this year?
Yeah. In 2019, the company was worth $3 billion.
It's a good amount of money. So what you're saying is basically Jonathan kind of controlled the sisters in this sense, and he pushed for the sale of this company?
I would imagine. I don't even know whether they cared though.
So so Apotex exists still, but under new ownership?
That's correct.